And then when you mentioned Data and Measure of a Man, so that's my connection, tie-in listeners, see if you can follow along.
They probably follow you way better than I just did, but keep going.
Okay, but what I really liked about that of bringing Measure of a Man back to our forefront when he was talking to Clancy, and Picard is like, we're hunting these beings down that have as much of a right to life and liberty just as Data. And just that simple line brings back the entire episode of Measure of a Man and how that he fought to get Data to have sentience, that he does have a right to his life and liberty. And I just love that. And that sort of ties into Soji. Like, she has a right to her past, to her history, to her story.
Absolutely. And I really loved that. I found my little note about this. I love when he goes after, because he doesn't just confront her. He goes after Clancy this time. And he basically tells her, you are utterly worthless if you're going to ignore me now. And she's like, will you just shut the F up? I'm sending someone to DS-12 to meet you. Just wait there. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a little bit of comic value and a little bit of shock value. She's dropping another F-bomb, but, it was to break up the fact that everything leading into this was really, really high tense and high pressure. Because just before this was the scene where Raffi tells JL, Picard, you think we're going to trust you? You already put one person on this ship that was a traitor. Now we're supposed to just trust you that Soji is good too? And that kicks off the whole investigation into Soji. But because of Rios' reaction to Soji, he was like, he was just gone. It was almost as if, in the beginning of that, it was almost as if he was widely drunk because he didn't seem to be able to focus or talk or stay involved in anything going on.
Yeah, that definitely shook him and took him back. And we saw a hint of it in, I think it was episode 3, where we meet Rios and the ship and everything. And he's like, I've already lost one captain. And so we knew there was a backstory. And so we finally get his backstory in this episode. I didn't
see this coming.
Yeah. I did not see him taking out Flower and Jana at all.
No, or even meeting Flower or Jana at all, or killing himself.
Right. When you saw the picture on the backside of the paper, oh my gosh, you're like, we only thought there was twins, right?
Yeah, but this is a triplet, by the way, because Jana looks just like her. Mm-hmm. And Flower was a man-looking one. So there's another twin or triplet or quadruplet or something out there. Or
someone similar to Data.
Yeah, but I think...
because we have B4 and Lore, right?
Yes, but if they looked that way, because these are supposed to be more human anyway. But if they looked like Data, he would have recognized Data. Data would have had to have been in some Rios? Textbook for Starfleet.
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I mean? So
yeah.
He was a fairly high-ranking official, officer on a bridge of the starship, of this flagship. He also gave his life for the captain of that ship.
Right.
People would have known what he looked like.
That's true. True point. Yeah.
If it looks like him now, it's bad storytelling because he should have immediately known. It shouldn't have been a surprise when Data got on board.
Yeah.
But, so I'm really interested in how we go with this. I really hope they don't do a whole Soon thing where this one looks like Soon too. I'm kind of sick of everything looking like Soon.
Yeah.
So.
And you're right. They're supposed to be more advanced. Human. Yeah.
You're not supposed to know the difference.
Right. Yeah.
So, but this all leads to, I was saying it last week with Kevin, and it's going to sound horrible to me, but I love the fact that everyone on this ship is broken. They're all broken. This is not Utopia TNG. This is a group of really broken people getting together to the point where Rios is like, I'll take you to DS-12, but that's it. I am done there. He changes his mind by the end of the episode, and that leads to other questions like, what is Starfleet going to meet there now? Because they're not going to DS-12.
Yeah, they are not.
So Picard gets himself in trouble again with Starfleet? Oh, man, come on. You just got... It's like my son. You just got out of punishment, and the first thing you did was break something. Mm-hmm. Back to punishment.
So can we talk about the cool things in Rios's room?
Yes.
I was watching and my mom and I were watching at the same time, and she sends me this text because my grandfather had, I don't know how many cigar boxes in his garage, and they're hundreds, listeners, hundreds. There was all these nuts and bolts and everything, just holding stuff.
My grandfather never smoked a cigar, and he had the same thing.
No, my grandfather, Mormon is all get out. Like, no, there was no smoke. It was just the boxes. And so, we have these, my mom has these cigar boxes, my grandparents have passed. And she texts me, she's like, you better take care of my cigar boxes because they're going to last in the future. And I was like, okay, mother.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of the cigar box trick too, but and I've gotten down to only collecting ones that are really cool looking.
Well, they're all cool looking to me because I don't know
the
any
one
cigars,
he took.
but...
See, that's what bothered me because I have cigar boxes.
And
the one he takes out when he looks at all the stuff from his time on Ibn Majid.
Yeah.
Ibn Majid was the cheapest, garbagiest, like Romeo and Juliet box you could find. It's like a cardboard box.
That's what they all are.
No, they're not. I have really beautiful wooden boxes.
Oh, no. We're talking the cardboard looked exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And that's how most of them used to be. But I have these beautiful wooden boxes, like tons of them. I even have ones that are based on Sons of Anarchy, the TV show.
Oh,
because
wow.
they came out with a line of cigars where the crate looked like a crate of ammo or a crate of AK-47s.
Oh,
And when you opened it, they were all lined up like bullets.
Oh.
Really nice. Another one that I have not gotten my hands on yet, listener, if you know where one is, tell me, is it looks like the tabletop from this. Did you see Sons of Anarchy?
Yes, I did.
So you know the table that they held their meetings at?
Yes.
It had that chiseled into, not screen printed, chiseled into the top of the cigar box.
Wow.
It's the last one I'm looking for. But if I had these memories of this thing that, this tragic event in my life that happened, and they called it post-traumatic dysphoria, and it got me, relieved of duty from Starfleet, and I watched my idol kill themselves, and I was keeping that. I probably wouldn't keep that stuff, but if I was, it'd be much better than a Romeo and Juliet cardboard box.
Well, I don't think you can actually put a judgment because I think he was doing the best he could, and to go back to those memories may not have been possible for him. So it's like, just put them away.
Maybe. I can still pass judgment.
Wow.
You don't have to agree with it, but...
And, okay, what really had me questioning was that there was an actual photograph, not a hologram like we see Data with Tasha. I was like, wait a minute, a
suspend
photograph?
Disbelief.
That was the one thing that took me out of it. I was fine with the Billie Holiday record playing. I totally get that. I was fine with the cigar box and the drawing. And then I saw this photograph and I'm like, first of all, do we even have photographs? Of course it really made me question.
I can fix this. I just thought of it now, but I'll fix it. Because I just suspended disbelief and called it a day. And this episode just said, do that, and you'll be fine. So I did that. However, I can fix that for you.
Okay.
His old captain was really into old stuff like Picard.
Oh, yes.
So he had cigar boxes, which don't exist anymore anyway in that time frame. And he had photographs and pencil drawings, and he had whatever other nonsensical old stuff from the 90s. And he had all that stuff, and that's why they still existed.
Sold. I love it.
Photographs exist for hobbyists, just like vinyl records exist for hobbyists now.
Absolutely. Yes. And all those figurines and physical books, it just set the perfect.
So nobody, we have tablets now, yet everyone reads real books 1,000 years from now. It's just, they're hobbyists. It's a hobby for them. And that's it. If you think of it as a hobby, you don't have to worry about it not making sense because it makes sense again.
Okay. So with the Rios story, I love how they're doing the storytelling in Picard, and they've done it a couple of times. And I think the the last time we podcast, who knows? It was so long ago when we were together.
Did we even talk about this season before?
I know. What?
Are we in season 3 yet?
So when they go back and forth between the story as it's being told simultaneously, I am in love with this storytelling method. So we've got Rios telling his story about killing Flower and Jana, and we have Girardi talking to Soji and understanding how real she is. And I love Girardi's expression. And she's like, you drink when you're thirsty, you eat, you sleep, And so we have this parallel storyline of Girardi figuring out and realizing Soji is real. And then we have on Rios's side explaining the death of Flower and Jana. And I just think it is so beautiful how they go back and forth between the stories. I find it exciting, stimulating, and it really relates the two stories together.
Yeah, and more importantly too, that their death led to the death of Captain Alfonso Vandermeer. This was really the story of how he ends up dying, and they hint at it for a hot second and then skip over it later, but Rios blames himself for him killing himself. They don't really talk about it again, but Rios says, I pushed him really hard, and about a half hour later, he killed himself. Like, whoa, buddy, you just skipped the most important part of this story. Like, you told great detail about sitting down at dinner, and 3 hours later, they were dead, and he shot him with 2 shots, tink, tink, and blah, 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 and then a half hour later, he killed himself. Whoa.
I don't think I made that connection that he blames himself. I just sort of thought that he, by pushing him out the airlock and deleting everything, like that's what caused him the trauma.
I don't think that helped, but he definitely correlates. He said, I pressured him pretty hard about it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And at the end of a half hour, or some words along those lines, maybe a half hour wasn't there and I just added that timeline. I don't know. He shot himself.
Yeah.
So he also shot himself right in front of you, by the way, which has to be traumatic in and of itself. But somewhere between that, the other problem is too, because he said, I saw him as a father, an idol, a mentor, whatever.
And almost called him Papa.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was a cold-blooded killer. And then he says at the end, basically, that he participated in the cold-blooded murder by sending it out the airlock. These two beings never existed. And then it bothers him. He killed himself for no effing reason because they just had to say he committed suicide to commit suicide. Like, he couldn't explain out why he committed suicide because Jana and Beautiful Flower never existed. So if they don't exist, then they couldn't have been fighting about it. He couldn't have had to kill them because it was Black Ops directly from, or Black Spec, or Black something they called it.
Yeah, I think Black Ops is what's in my head. Yeah. Directly
from Starfleet. And if they didn't, they would destroy the whole ship and kill everyone on board.
But I loved that part where it's like, Raffi asks, and it's like, well, who gave the order, after talking about the Black Ops. And then it goes to Soji.
Commander O.
Was
the first word out of her mouth.
Yeah. And Commodore I was like, oh, that was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah. The whole thing was really good, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And like you said, you can actually see. I'm horrible with names, so I don't know who plays Girardi. But her range of emotion.
Hill.
There you go. Her range of emotions is unbelievable. And I guess it's like partly makeup too. They kind of redden around her nose and cheeks.
No, that's natural. Have you not met anyone that happens to? Well, I mean, I shouldn't say it's natural. But you know what? I noticed the same thing. And I was like, how brilliant and just amazing that we get to see her without makeup, in my opinion. And that those emotions come through with her coloring. Like, because I know quite a few very white people that get, if they get nervous, their nose turns red and their eyes, like they're that pale of a skin that it comes through. Yeah, I know people like that that do that.
So maybe she somehow was able to convince herself to be as nervous as she's supposed to be in the scene. Or they did it with makeup. Either way, it fits perfectly.
It does.
It really shows the emotion she's going through. by that little touch of red. I mean, if they didn't put it in there, you wouldn't be like, they should have red and it would make more sense. But since they do have it,
yep,
it makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really nice touch.